It's Collective Live!
Hey everyone, welcome to Collective Live. I'm just doing some summer tune-up on the car. Gonna clean out here. There's been some knocking on the engine. I'm not really sure what's going on. Then I'm gonna clean out the car. So just kind of taking a look. Everything seems to be okay. Actually, yeah, I don't need that anymore. But we have a great show for you tonight. Jenna is gonna be bringing us the word. We are in week 3 of our sermon series, Zero to Hero. And now we're gonna take it to our weekly challenge where you guys send us in videos that we love.
Each week, we challenge you guys to send us your best videos, and this week's challenge was send us your best 20-second talent. Here are some of our favorites. Guys, those videos were awesome and amazing, and thank you for everybody who sent a video in, and congratulations to our winner as well. Now, this next week's challenge is a stand-up comedian act. Now, we want to see just a little blip of the jokes that you guys have, but remember, if you wouldn't say it to your grandma, then don't tell it to us. We'll see you later.
What's up, Collective? We're back for another campus battle, and today we're playing a game called Passwords. So now I have these note cards with one single word on them. And so the objective of this game is we have 2 teams, and I'm gonna give each team the same word. And what they're gonna do is they're gonna describe this word to their teammate with one word as well. And so they're gonna try to guess which word is on the card by one word description. And so the teams are gonna battle back and forth to see who can get the word right. Let's get this started. So we're gonna start off. You two are gonna go ahead and get the clue of the words, and you guys are gonna be the guessers. Let's do it. So let's do it. So it's on the back of this. So I'm gonna slide it to you guys. Okay. And when I give you guys a countdown, I want you guys to look at it at the same time. Okay. Yeah, I got you. Okay. Well, Matthias, we're gonna go ahead and start with you. All right, guy. I played Chris. Actually, what's the first word? Not tell me, bro. I'll tell you. This guy thinks he's slick, dude. Which team? Did you decide on which team's guessing first? Yes, Matthias, you guys are gonna go ahead and take the lead. Zone in here. Just because ladies first. Whoa, what? All right. Oh, it was great seeing you. What does that mean? Not an insult, just a comment. All right. 3, 2, 1. Go ahead and look at your cards and see which word it is. Don't you dare look at it. I didn't see it. So remember, you have one word. We can't use it. I'm sorry, sir. I feel like you're being very accusatory in your tone. Very. All right. Okay. All right, ready? So you go ahead. You go ahead first.
School.
What?
Is that a guess?
No, that's a guess. He said one word.
No. All right, then that's your guess. No, I didn't get my clue yet. It doesn't count. There's gonna be so many things. I didn't know how else to describe this. Remember that.
Oh boy, it's one word. Right?
Yes.
Yeah. So you use one word.
I'm gonna go bus.
Okay, fine. We're done. If that's not it, we're done.
Incorrect. go ahead and do another word.
So it's the same word, right?
It's the same. You guys are the same word, but you have to use a different word to describe it.
Bag. Backpack?
Are you ding, ding, ding? We got.
Are you kidding me?
School backpack. School backpack. All right, you can toss that. You can toss those away. You can toss those. Just throw it behind you. Just throw it behind you. Not at me.
That wasn't the best one. I'll admit that one.
I'm feeling
Right.
great going into round two. I don't know about you
two.
guys. Yeah, you guys got a free one.
What? All right, so
You
now
got a free word.
Now Brandon
I
and
have to
Zane,
go
you guys
first
are going to
this
be
time.
given
Yeah,
the word.
yeah.
Brandon, you're going to be going first this time. Here's your guys' words.
This can be a word about Shrek. I can feel it.
Go ahead and take a look at your words. Brandon, start thinking of one word to describe that one word.
Am I gonna get this?
This is extremely difficult.
Are you kidding me?
I don't know if either of us are going to get this. How many guesses do we get before we get
It goes until you guys.
All right.
All right, Brandon, let's get a word going.
If you don't get this, he's going to, so. Judgment.
That's tough.
Should I just say the first thing that came to my mind?
Do it.
Gavel.
Can you imagine though?
When you know what this word is.
Yeah, you'll get it as soon as
Well, you
it's
said
so
you
bad.
said it was like super difficult, and I was like, that's super.
It is, but with 2 clues,
But-
it's like perfect.
This
yeah.
is.
If I could have given you 2 words.
So remember judgment,
Okay.
and then I don't know what I'm gonna. It's just so specific.
Like a gavel, maybe. Say gavel.
So
clue.
so judgment, and then I'm gonna give. Okay, fine. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. In. Remember judgment.
Okay.
Exercise.
What?
I know it's difficult.
Guys, you're missing one.
So judgment. Exercise. Put the 2 together.
That's too many words.
Judgment exercise?
It's
Timer on
Watch the shot clock.
this?
this is so hard because this is
I get it, but I don't.
We don't
know.
sympathize.
I can't say what this is. I can't even describe what this
Can't
is.
say any more words.
4, 3.
Jury? I don't know.
Jury.
We're on James. Don't
Okay,
let
first clue.
James's
Moving
guess
on.
influence you
My
at
first
all.
clue was judgment. 3.
You guys are missing one word.
Seriously.
You're going the wrong one.
Judgment. What was your word?
Whoa, I might call flags
But he
soon.
gave a lot of. He said a lot of things.
Hey,
I won't say another word.
Okay. Zone.
No.
Okay.
not a bad guess. All right, Jane.
So tell me the words that we've used to explain so far.
We've used judgment, exercise, and free.
Okay. Put those into your head.
No, they're in my head.
Swirl
I
them
just
around,
don't-
mix them together, and then I'm going to give you a word that might seem out of this world, but I'm going to give it to you.
Okay.
Context,
Dude,
man.
what are you
can't
doing?
context
I know where I'm
cannot
headed.
contextualize your clue.
Okay!
Hey,
No,
guys.
that's gotta be a penalty. I know where we're headed, and that was a hint.
As the
Yeah,
host,
seriously.
listen,
All right,
Seriously.
host.
as the host, we have a new rule, okay? You guys can only use one word. I don't
Okay.
want to hear any
All right.
context. I don't
One
want to hear
context.
You guys
One
better
word.
just
That was a
I
hint to
agree.
me, and I don't even know
Shake
what the
on
word
it.
is. We're done. We're
You
deal.
think
One
of
word.
one word.
Okay,
and
go ahead. Go.
Jim.
Day?
Okay, fine.
Okay.
Nice.
Okay. So I know the realm we're in. Like I know what it's about. I just need to. Yeah.
No, you get one word.
Oh. What was your word? What was his word? Oh,
Shut your
mouth.
No, yes you can. It was Jim. He said Jim.
Oh, okay. Like
Not
my
the guy.
word.
Got it.
My
Jim.
word. Just for fun. Bagels.
Whoa. Oh, wait.
Hold on.
Stop. Cool it.
Come on, y'all.
Is this like two words?
Oh my.
Don't you dare!
No, because the last one
I
was
think I know what
one
it is.
word.
I think I know what it
and
is.
I thought, is the
So
rule
here's
that
the
I
rule.
need
Here's the rule.
I need to know, is the word that I'm trying to guess one word?
Here's
It should be one word.
Here's the rule. So
Because I know what
No,
it
what I
is.
said was one word, but
it's
he's asking a
one
clarifying question
one
about-
subject.
Okay,
One
I know
thing.
exactly what it is. I'm going to say
Okay, I
right
think
now.
I know what it is.
The
I think I
answer is Planet Fitness.
Let's go! There it is.
I thought I was trying to go one word.
What
so
is
like,
it with this
fitness
two?
or is
How
it
am I
planet?
supposed to use one word to explain two words?
Lunk. You should have said lunk.
See, that's what I said.
Lunk.
That's why I said.
I
That's why I
never
said.
walked
Like you said,
into a
judgment
Planet
free.
Fitness.
I've never
I was
watched
like
like
judgment free zone.
But I was
What?
going because I remember Ryan talking about the bagels or donuts.
Yeah.
I knew I was
got
there, and then
that.
when you said
See, but-
out of this world, I was like, dude, Planet Fitness, all right.
That was okay. Honestly, that wasn't even a hint. I was gonna say
That was a good
universe.
hint.
I was gonna say orbit or something that has to do with the planet.
Gum.
But in out of this
Because the
world.
first one I thought it was like.
I'm gonna give you guys your words.
All
again.
right, all right,
Okay.
all right.
And we're
One
starting
word.
with Ice. You're gonna go ahead and get the start.
They're up 2-0. So
Yeah, I know.
this
We gotta
sucks.
2-0.
What
Guys,
are
it's,
we
it's
playing?
best of 5,
Best of
so
five.
so
Best
you
of
guys are
13
doing
for
well.
us.
Okay,
Best
we
of
got
13.
we got
You guys
okay.
are doing well.
Did be
Can I look at it?
for us.
Yeah, go ahead and look at it. Because I have horrible posture.
Let's keep it locked in, James. We got this.
So I can't say like, I can't say this word.
You lost.
I promise I didn't see it.
I can't
Say
promise.
this word.
No, you can't say. You can't say the word. You're like you just pointed to the word.
Okay,
on
got it, got it,
Can I
got it.
say?
The clue is bagel.
Okay,
it
we're gonna
bagel?
need to start from the beginning of the rules here.
Okay. Handle.
Oh man, the first thing that came to my mind is I'm guessing it has nothing to do with this. Handle. I'm guessing the first thing that came to my mind. Shower. Okay, fine.
Not bad.
All right, James. You've been right here so far.
It's a good hint. That was the exact word I was gonna use.
Okay.
Really?
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Maybe I'm not as far off as I thought.
Say that again.
Messed it up the first time.
So we have handle.
Cue the Jeopardy music.
So what we got so far is entrance.
Back to you.
Hit me with it.
I don't know how to. Just,
Oh boy.
He's trying to read his mind. I can see it. They're using the force.
Guys, this is the quietest campus battle.
This is tough.
I feel like we're in a library.
I'm trying to ice him out.
I
can't do it.
Ice the kicker, Colt.
Hey, shot clock.
silver.
Oh no. Okay, fine.
I see your thought process.
You see what I'm going?
I do.
I see it.
I see it.
I see it.
Okay, fine.
I just don't know how to like put it into words. You know what I mean?
I don't know if I'm missing something here. I'm missing the whole thing. But
Same.
you're in the same spot.
I'm sitting
These
over here
don't
like I have
make
no
any
idea.
sense.
It's like I just need Zane to eliminate one more word from the dictionary. Here.
I know. Of all of the 8 billion words. Handle, silver, entrance. Handle, silver, entrance. Dude, honestly, I have. Okay, fine.
Shot clock.
Turn? Okay, fine.
We have handle,
Back to you guys.
entrance. Think about this. Handle,
Dude,
entrance.
I'm thinking.
He's thinking.
Grab.
Is it doorknob?
Let's go! Look at that. We got a 3.
You were so close close with that. You were so close with that.
I know. That's why I almost.
You see where we're
guessed
going?
it.
I know. I gotta get it back.
Nice.
So it's
I would've
technically
put-
best of 5.
You should have just said graph.
That's all we got. This
We're gonna get it
Thank
over
you
the
for
graph.
joining us for
Yeah.
this week's Leader versus Leader
And
Challenge.
graph.
Brandon and James take it with the score of 3-0.
I don't even.
I think that was Chris's job, but
I don't even need a host show. He's got it.
Good evening, Collective students. Andrew here. I want to share some news with you that has happened over the last few weeks. And some of you may have heard already. But just recently, over this past week, I resigned from my position, not only here at Calvary, but yet specifically being a student pastor within Collective Youth Ministry. With bittersweet news, a lot went into this decision. Over the last 6 years, Calvary has not only been home to me, but yet has been home to my family. I have learned so much about ministry. I have learned so much about how to pastor people, but yet more importantly, I have learned so much about student ministry and just being with you as students. And so with bittersweet news, I officially resigned this past week. But yeah, I just wanted to let you know kind of what's taken place, not only for me, but yet for my family. Here in the next 30 days or so, I will be transitioning out of my role and taking on a role at Third City Christian Church, going back into children's ministry. And so if you're not aware, Third City Christian Church is the church that I grew up in. Grand Island is the place where I grew up in as well. And so my family and I, we are so excited to be going back home. But yet it's bittersweet because we are closing a chapter on ministry, here at Calvary. And so for me to you, I just want to say thank you for the last 3 years of allowing me to be in student ministry with you, whether with you as a student or with you as a coach. I know that I am better. I am better because of you all. And so I want you to know that our student ministry is not only in a great place, but yet our student ministry is growing, and it's only going to continue to get better. And so I believe in this season, right here, right now, whether it's with Matthias or Brandon or James or Zane, or Chris Randall or Jenna, our student ministry is it's in a great place. And so I know it's not going to miss a beat. It's only going to get better. And so Collective students, man, I love you so much. I love you so much. And so be mindful that the best is yet to come, and God will continue to love you and show you the path that you were supposed to take. And so Collective students, as always, God is good all the time, and all the time, God is good.
Hey, what's up, Collective? Thanks so much for joining us tonight. We're so excited to continue in the series Zero to Hero tonight, talking about Gideon. But before that, I just have a question. Have you ever in your life had a moment that you felt inadequate to do something that you were asked to do? That you felt like, I'm not the best person for this job? If you thought of a moment like that, just take a second and talk to the people around you about that. I've had that so many times throughout my life, and one moment that I remember was my first job out of college. I was an assistant basketball coach, and by the second year they asked me to be the head coach, and I remember that conversation. I felt that feeling of inadequacy, and I felt my heart pounding in my chest thinking, I've only had a year of coaching experience. I'm still pretty young, and there's gonna be players that I'm gonna be coaching that are older than me. So all of those feelings, just kind of overwhelmingly feeling like I'm the wrong person for this, but then at the same time feeling just peace that this is where God's calling me to, so stepping out into that. So I can point to definitely several times in my life like that, and maybe you can as well. But one that really sticks out to me in the Bible is Gideon. And so let's just dive into that. So let me set the scene for you. So Israel had turned against God, and they were living in sin and idolatry. They had forgotten what God had done for them, and they just needed a reminder that God was the one true God and he was in control. And we saw this a lot actually in the book of Judges, where it starts with Israel serving the Lord, and then they decide to live in sin and idolatry. They end up enslaved by an army, and then eventually they get sick and tired of that, and they cry out to God for deliverance. God has mercy on them and cares about them, and so he sends a judge to help deliver them. And then you see the cycle restart where they're then serving the Lord and following him. So we find Israel right now, and they now are back living in sin, and they're enslaved by the Midianites. They'd been enslaved for 7 years. 7 years the Midianites had come in and they stole their crops. They destroyed their homes and their cities, and Israel was living in oppression. So at the end of the 7 years, an angel of the Lord came to Gideon. And do you want to know what his reaction was when God called him? Let's check it out here in Judges 6, starting in verse 11. It says, "Now the angel of the Lord came and sat under the terebinth at Ophrah, which belonged to Joash the Abizarite, while his son Gideon was beating out wheat in the winepress to hide it from the Midianites." So notice here, when the angel of the Lord came to Gideon, he was hiding in a winepress. That's not exactly where you'd probably think you'd find a war hero. Let's continue in verse 12, and it says, "The angel of the Lord appeared to him and said, 'The Lord is with you, O mighty man of valor.' And Gideon said to him, 'Please, my Lord, if the Lord is with us, then why has all this happened to us? And where are all of his wonderful deeds that our father recounted to us, saying, did not the Lord bring us up from Egypt? But now the Lord has forsaken us and given us into the hand of Midian.' And the Lord turned to him and said, 'Go in this might of yours and save Israel from the hand of Midian. Do not I send you?' And he said to him, 'Please, Lord, how can I save Israel? Behold, my clan is the weakest, and I am the least in my father's house.' And the Lord said to him, 'But I will be with you, and you shall strike the Midianites down as one man.'" So God calls Gideon, as he's hiding in the winepress, a mighty man of valor. I don't think that was probably what he was feeling in that moment. And so Gideon basically says, of all the people in the area, of all the tribes, of all the families, of all the people, I am the least. So you've got the wrong guy. But God says, no, like, I will be with you. So we see that even though Gideon might not feel equipped, he felt inadequate, but with God's strength, he could do anything. So fast forward a bit, we see Gideon, he tests God a few times, putting out some fleece and trying to just make sure that God was really calling him to do it. He felt so inadequate that he really needed signs from God to know that he was the one that God wanted. And so finally when he did, he assembled an army of 32,000 men. Now, that might sound like a lot, but when you know how large the Midianite army was, they were just a fraction. They were a fraction of that. And so 32,000, they were a little bit nervous, feeling like this might not be enough men to actually pull off this victory in battle. In Judges 7, verse 2, it says, "The Lord said to Gideon, 'The people are too many for me to give the Midianites to their hand, lest Israel boast over me, saying, my own hand has saved me. Now therefore proclaim in the ears of the people, saying, whoever is fearful and trembling, let him turn home and hurry away from Mount Gilead.' Then 22,000 people returned and 10,000 remained." So basically God said, that army's too big. And if you're fearful, if there's anyone there who just wants to go home, they can go. And so 22,000 people left, and that left them with 10,000 people. So if they already felt with 32,000 like their army was too small, imagine how they felt with 10,000. But it gets even better than that. Continuing in verse 4, it says, "And the Lord said to Gideon, the people are still too many. So take them down to the water, and I will test them there for you. And any one of you who I say, this one shall go with you, shall go with you. And any one of you whom I say, this one shall not go, shall not go." So he brought the people down to the water, and the Lord said to Gideon, "Everyone who laps the water with his tongue as a dog laps, you shall set by himself. Likewise, everyone who kneels down to drink." So basically, he's separating them into two groups. One group is the people who like are sticking their face in the water and they're licking the water up. And the other one is the people who are kneeling down and they're scooping the water in their hands and drinking it like that. So now they're in two groups. And verse 6 says, "And the number of those who lapped, putting their hands in their mouth, was 300 men. But all the rest of the people who knelt down to drink. And the Lord said to Gideon, with the 300 men who lapped, I will save you and give the Midianites into your hand, and let all the other men go to his home." So now their army was down to 300 men. I think in any scenario, that does not sound like a lot. But if you're looking at hundreds of thousands in the Midianite army versus 300, they're going to feel a little bit outnumbered, I would think. So the day for battle, it finally came, and Gideon gathered everyone together to explain their plan. So picking back up in verse 16, it says, "And he divided the 300 men into 3 companies and put trumpets in the hands of all of them, and empty jars with torches inside the jars. And he said to him, look at me and do likewise. When I come to the outskirts of the camp, do as I do. When I blow a trumpet, and I and all who are with me, and then blow trumpets also on every side of all the camp, and shout, for the Lord and for Gideon." So imagine coming to that right before battle. Gideon's about to give this big pep talk. He hands everybody a jar, a torch, and a trumpet. I think I'd be standing there like, where's my sword? But that was what they were taking into battle. So not only are they outnumbered, but they don't have weapons. They just have a jar, a torch, and a trumpet. And so Gideon says, and then we're gonna go and we're gonna yell, we're gonna make noise. And this is our big battle plan. And so in verse 19 it says, "So Gideon and the 100 men who were with him came to the outskirts of the camp at the beginning of the middle to watch. And when they had just set the watch, they blew the trumpets and smashed the jars that were in their hands. And then 3 companies blew trumpets and broke the jars. And they held their left hands at the torches and their right hands with the trumpets to blow. And they cried out, 'A sword for the Lord and for Gideon.' Every man stood in his place around the camp, and all the army ran. They cried out and fled. And then they blew the 300 trumpets, and the Lord set every man's sword against his comrade and against all the army." So imagine this being, they were in this valley. The Midianite army was in a valley. They were all camped out. It was the middle of the night. And Gideon's army came on the hills around them, and they had their torch with a jar over it, so there wasn't any light yet. And they had a trumpet. And so all at the same time, they smashed the jars and they blew their trumpets. So imagine being in the Midianite army in the middle of the night. You just hear these loud roars and these bright lights. What happened was confusion set in, and the Midianite army began to attack each other. And so they were killing off each other, and anybody else who got away, they just fled. They fled the land. And so all of a sudden, without using one sword, Gideon's army had won. So what does this story mean for our lives? How is this applicable to us right now? Most of us probably aren't going to have to go into battle, and probably especially not with just a torch, a jar, and a trumpet. But I think the biggest thing that we should take away from this is that God's strength always surpasses our weaknesses. It's not about what we can do, but it's about what God can do through us when we live in faith and obedience to Him. So like we saw tonight, God chose who we probably would choose last. They'd be our last pick. Gideon was the least likely to be able to pull off something like that. But the thing is it didn't matter. Gideon's ability didn't matter, but his faith and obedience to what God was calling him to, that's what mattered. God wants to use you in incredible ways. I hope that this week and right now we can identify areas in our lives that we can step out in faith and obedience to what God is calling us to, and then watch Him work. We might feel inadequate in some things, but we know that God's strength always surpasses our weaknesses.
I searched the world, but it couldn't fill me. Man's empty praise and treasures that fade were never enough. Then you came along and put me back together, and every desire is now satisfied here in your love. there's nothing that's better than you. There's nothing that's better than you. There's nothing, nothing is better than you. Now I'm not afraid to show you my weakness, my failures and flaws. Lord, you've seen them all, and you still call me friend. 'Cause the God of the mountains, He's the God of the valley. There's not a place your mercy and grace won't find me again. 'Cause there's nothing that's better than you. There's nothing better than you. There's nothing, nothing is better than you. Oh, there's nothing that's better than you. There's nothing that's better than you. There's nothing, nothing is better than you. You turn mourning to dancing. You give beauty for ashes. You turn shame into glory. You're the only one who can. You turn mourning to dancing. You give beauty for ashes. You turn shame into glory. You're the only one who can. You turn graves into gardens. You turn bones into armies. You turn seas into highways. You're the only one who can. You're the only one who can. There's nothing that's better than you. There's nothing better than you. There's nothing, nothing is better than you. Oh, there's nothing that's better than you. There's nothing that's better than you. There's nothing, nothing is better than you. You turn graves into gardens. You turn bones into armies. You turn seas into highways. You're the only one who can. You turn graves into gardens. You turn bones into armies. You turn seas into highways. You're the only one who can. You're the only one who can.
Oh, hey guys, we hope you enjoyed Collective Live. You guys can head to small groups. The link for your campus is in the description. If you don't know where to go, comment in the chat. We'll help you get there. You guys do that. No, I'll be there in group in just a little bit. This is gonna take a little bit. I got some heavy moving to do. So you guys, you just go. I'll catch up, I promise. I don't think it's going. Well, if you're not gonna go to group, you might as well come help me. I'm at Calvary Bellevue South right now. Don't tell anyone. Well, you just come and help me, or go to group. Go to group. Actually, go to group. Go to group. That'll be better. I may need a call for help. I think the fire department will help with this kind of stuff. But go to group. I'll see you guys next week.